recently learned of yet another significant development in the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit. Since the SEC government has submitted a status report to the Court of Appeals stating that the parties have submitted a joint stipulation of dismissal of the appeal, and that the stipulation is still pending, requiring the court's permission, it nearly seems as though we are unable to extricate ourselves from this matter. We're still waiting for this case to be officially concluded, so it's still just going through the boring facts, if you will. I believe that by the end of this month we should have formally moved on from this, which is why we're still focused on it. What we are seeing in the cryptocurrency market is the primary reason we continue to concentrate on this. And just what is that? The largest stimulus for any altcoin in this market will be the push for institutional adoption through ETFs. Since XRP has beaten practically everything in this market save for, say, meme currencies and new launches in the past year, I have been comparing its chart against those of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sol, and even Doge. When comparing XRP and Bitcoin, XRP has performed nearly 5 times better than Bitcoin. XRP is up against Ethereum once more, about 5 times, and even against Solana. I could go through the entire top 100 list and do the same thing, or I could just open the general coin market cap view here, and let's just go to the top gainers and top losers in the top 100 for the last 30 days. After all, it's not even comparable at this point, and even with Dogecoin, XRP has been outperforming. You know, let's simply rely on OKB if we're examining some of these top gainers. You would remark, all right, well, it's definitely outperforming XRP, right? In response to OKB's wild behavior. No, XRP continues to beat OKB. These projects are all making substantial progress. Since XRP has risen more than 440% in the past year and is already one of the most sought-after projects this cycle, it continues to beat practically all of them. This suggests that institutions are paying attention, doesn't it? This is interesting, right? Would be my reaction if I were an asset management firm examining XRP. We should investigate this further. We need an ETF centered around XRP because, once more, we are in the market and in the business of making money. If we are considering that, we must consider how XRP compares to other ETFs that have already been introduced, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. To do this, we look at demand, performance, and the amount of attention that XRP is receiving. I believe that this indicates that these institutional players are also taking note of the fact that XRP has been a very strong mover so far this year. It has been outperforming all of the top dogs, which also indicates that an ETF push is imminent. However, there is a barrier, and that is the case. I firmly believe that the case has impeded many things, particularly the judgments on XRP spot ETFs. Now, if we're considering that, the CEO of Ripple also gave us a significant update. There will soon be an XRP spot ETF. On the 15th, we received this. According to Brad Garlinghouse, he is certain that the US SEC will authorize an XRP spot ETF, and trading is anticipated to begin shortly. Deadline for decisions, October 2025. Will EXRP have a breakthrough in October of this year? Additionally, we recall receiving a report from Standard Chartered 4 months ago, in which they predicted that XRP would hit $12.50 by the end of 2028. However, they also made an extremely intriguing statement. What is that? The XRP ETF, is it? The expected approval of a spot XRP ETF in the United States by the third quarter of 2025 is a significant driver of this growth. They are now stating that the price of XRP is expected to be $5.50 in 2025, while Bitcoin and Ethereum are valued at $200,000 and $4,000 respectively. Guess what though? On Ethereum, they're already mistaken. $5.50 looks like a reasonable price for XRP, but I'm not sure about Bitcoin yet. Their price projection of $8 for 2026, or perhaps $10.40 for 2027, seems more accurate in my opinion. Once more though, we'll have to observe, wait and see. However, the primary focus of my attention is their expected approval of a spot XRP ETF in the third quarter decision. Given that the case is already concluded, I do believe that the forecast could live up to the excitement. It seems like it's almost finished, and from now on, interest in XRP will only increase. Even though we are currently in the Ethereum phase of the cycle, everyone's eyes are on XRP right now. Due to its performance so far this year, I'm mostly interested in what altcoins can do in this market once Ethereum breaks a new all-time high. On top of that, we also visit the Ethereum ETFs, since we need to concentrate on them at the moment because they provide a small indication of how successful some of these other cryptocurrency ETFs might be, as we have been hearing for a while. We've heard that Bitcoin ETFs will continue to outperform Ethereum ETFs. It's all about Bitcoin. Ethereum ETFs? Oh, aren't that successful? Guess what, though? With almost $600 million, spot Ethereum ETFs record the fourth best inflow day ever. This week has had 3 of the top 4 inflow days since launch. Over the last 4 trading sessions, nearly $3 billion in new money has swiftly turned into a money vacuum cleaner. Additionally, the trading volume for spot Ethereum ETFs is at an all-time high over here. Take a look at this chart, which shows that institutional investors are becoming more active. We can also see that the US Ether ETFs are reaching record volumes. Last but not least, it was the week with the greatest trading volume for spot cryptocurrency ETFs ever. Spot Ethereum ETFs completely destroyed the previous record for weekly trading volume. I wonder whether there are still those who are skeptical of no demand. Indeed, the most bizarre aspect of Ethereum's ETF performance is that although its ETFs have been extremely successful, I believe that XRP, the second largest cryptocurrency asset at the time, has repeatedly outperformed Ethereum. XRP's demand may surpass Ethereum's very soon. I firmly believe that we may have a very successful spot XRP ETF, and I believe that this could catalyze a lot of attention to shift to XRP, which would also bring in a lot of volume and value to XRP. This could potentially be the catalyst for XRP to flip Ethereum again in the future. We don't know if that will happen this cycle, but it's always a possibility. However, I do believe that the success of Ethereum ETFs is also a sign that we are entering the next phase, which is altcoins. Though this has only been pre-season, I do believe that if allowed, altcoin ETFs might also rally against Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs. Speaking more about that, we also have the XRP ETF here, which will be the wave that people have not realized could happen. CNBC's Nate Goralski. Within the next 2 months, a common framework for crypto ETFs could be put into place, eliminating the need for individual approvals for each spot ETF. That indicates a surge in XRP ETFs like Solana, Cardano, and others may soon be available on the market. Zayfe Crypto deserves special recognition for this. Have a look, folks.
3 major stock exchanges, so NYSE, NASDAQ, and SIBO, they have all filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, which basically means that the exchanges wouldn't need to seek specific approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it meets certain criteria. So this would streamline the approval process. And that's important because right now there are filings out there from multiple issuers for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR. We could go on down the list, but there are a boatload of filings out there. And the expectation is that this standardized crypto framework will be implemented, say, in the next 2 months or so. And so if and when that happens, I think you're going to see the floodgates open. We're going to see a wave of approvals, and you're going to see, again, a boatload of new crypto ETFs coming to market.
Yeah, that certainly seems like a big catalyst there. Matt, do you think we'll see more crypto-related IPOs similar to Circle, especially around stablecoins? Do you think we'll see some SPAC-related IPOs that have that kind of crypto focus?
Sure. I mean, there's a saying on Wall Street, when the ducks are quacking, feed them. So, of course, Circle really accelerated the timeline of a lot of these crypto companies that have been waiting for the right time to go public. You bring up SPACs. We've seen a lot of SPAC activity, specifically targeting crypto treasury companies. But I will mention that with Bullish this week, it might be flying under the radar, but Bullish has a lot of crypto assets. So it's not really a crypto treasury company, but I mean, it's sitting on 2 billion plus of crypto assets. So we are seeing some activity there.
Wow, yeah, no small number. Nate, how have crypto fund flows been looking? Does that to you symbolize just the overall demand for crypto right now? And if they get kind of the institutional support, as you mentioned, with regard to the NYSE and NASDAQ, do you think that will help support additional ETF creation?
I do. It's been a monster year for inflows into spot crypto ETFs. About $26 billion has gone into spot crypto ETFs overall this year, about $19 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs, another $7 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And if you look in July alone, investors put about $6 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs and $5.5 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And
listen, when we think about right now the wave of adoption for ETFs, the inflows are definitely at crazy, crazy levels. But we're still looking at the possibility of how successful an XRP ETF can be. We don't have the numbers in front of us. We don't have something to kind of go off of with this. All we need to know here, though, is how successful XRP has been this cycle already. And all of the moves have been happening around XRP as well to really kind of support the success of XRP.
Many people, in my opinion, are currently ignoring this situation. I don't think many people are aware of how much of a catalyst this will be for XRP's price action, as well as for how it might be seen in this way. XRP is taking off and creating headlines. Suddenly, we are beginning to observe an increasing number of inflows into the ETFs. It's a great time for increasing XRP bullishness, but before anything else can really align, the spot ETFs must be approved. I believe that many people aren't paying much attention to the ETFs, though. In terms of XRP and XRP ETFs, I believe that the ETFs now centered around Ethereum have done a great job of assisting with the price movement of Ethereum. I firmly believe that this is something we will likely witness in the third quarter, which is consistent with the market reviving. It would also be consistent with all-season phase 3 and 4 starting. It would also be consistent with the theory of reaching a new peak, similar to what happened in January 2021. Once more, the atmosphere surrounding XRP is incredibly optimistic. In my opinion, it is crucial to consider all of these factors while we are also observing the market, and we are beginning to notice pullbacks and possible sell-offs. We still haven't seen every coin yet, so it's vital to consider what is ahead for us this cycle. Get crazier and more erratic. We still haven't seen Bitcoin's dominance breakdown, we haven't seen a theory, and we haven't seen a new all-time high. If we're considering all of that, we're still considering what's in store for XRP, because although this cycle has been going really well so far, I still believe that XRP has a lot more gas left in the tank, and the ETFs are undoubtedly a big catalyst for that. However, everyone is saying that the case is done. It's done, it's done, it's essentially finished, but we still need to go through all of this time-consuming paperwork. So once we get that, I do believe that it puts everything in motion around the ETFs, adoption, and announcements. So we still need to be a little more patient. ETF approvals are driving all coins crazy. Phases 3 and 4 are officially here. And once more, I believe that many of these projects, including XRP and the first old coin to receive ETF approval for a spot ETF in the US, will be the focus of attention. Whatever old coin it is, it will be incredibly bullish, so we're crossing our fingers for XRP. XRP might very well be the first in line, in my opinion. Having said that, I hope you all found this film entertaining. We will have to watch, wait, and see. Please subscribe and enable notifications if you enjoy it.